I don't know how you're all finding the current lockdown, but one of the things I've noticed is that I'm drinking a lot of tea, a remarkable amount of tea. I have had a rather busy week creating liturgy, writing reflections, singing, filming. Oh, what a world we live in. We're all mini broadcasters now. So maybe I've needed it to keep going. But then I think of Anne Leonard's comment about housework. We think, if only I had time, I'd clean the house. And then we have time, and we realise, maybe not. Perhaps when I sit back and have a rest next week, I'll find I'm still drinking every bit as much tea, because it's a kind of punctuation to the day, isn't it? What shall we do now? Let's have a cup of tea. The last time I remember drinking this much tea was at my father's wake. The Irish wake is a remarkable thing. It's held in the home in the 3-day period between a relative dying and the funeral. Protestants in Northern Ireland are stereotypically known to offer the endless stream of visitors, those calling to give their condolences, tea, whereas Catholics are known for offering whiskey. Well, we fitted the stereotype as it was tea all the way. The way that it works is that second-tier family come and set up in your kitchen, and when the visitors come calling, as they do constantly, they bring out tea in china cups and saucers. Task number 1 after a death, locate the family china. And plates of sandwiches and wee buns. And each time it comes out, we, the family, the chief mourners, drink more tea. And when they've all gone and it's late at night and you finally have a moment to yourselves to take stock, the close family say, they've all gone. Let's have a cup of tea. As Wilson, my brother-in-law, put it, intravenous tea, that's what these occasions call for. And here we find ourselves in the space directly after the death, when the Irish would be having a wake and sharing stories of the deceased and making sure the chief mourners are not left alone with their grief. But Jesus is already in the tomb. There's been no ceremony, no leave-taking. He has breathed his last, been taken down off the cross, and Joseph of Arimathea has bravely offered his tomb, so he at least has a decent resting place after his indecent death. And he's already in it, and there's been no time for anything because it is the Sabbath and a dead body is polluting and no work must be done, even the work of mourning. But in our reading, it's not quite the Sabbath, and the women are there. The women who have never left him. As W.R. Rogers puts it, and as we reflected together on Good Friday, it is always the women who are the watchers and keepers of life. They guard our exits and our entrances. They are both tomb and womb, end and beginning. The women are there, but they too have to leave to make their preparations for the Sabbath. And the disciples, where are they? They are in lockdown, hiding behind closed doors for fear that the authorities will come to them next. There's no easy chat about the deceased because it wasn't an easy death. To quote W.R. Rogers again, a Belfast man known as Bertie, like my dad, who, like my dad, has been accompanying me this Easter. This was a rough death. There was nothing tidy about it. No sweetness, nothing noble. Everything stuck out awkwardly and angular. The clumsy soldier brought the wrong basket of nails, and the couriers, those sticky fly papers of events, did not even bother to cover his sticky end or carry it home to Rome. I'll not read the whole poem now, although I highly commend it to you. It finishes, It's hard to turn the other cheek when both have been slapped. Yes, it was a hard death. And when it's been a hard death, a violent death, a humiliating death, out of time for the one who came into time, there is no consolation, no comfort to be had. No amount of tea would help. It was indeed a hard death. So this Easter Saturday is the day when we wait, when everything is in disarray and hopes have been quashed. How do you spend a day like that? For us, we know the hope is coming, so it is a time of waiting for that hope to be realised. Sometimes I spend the day cleaning to prepare, like the Jewish women preparing for the Sabbath. We might want to do that, to prepare. Perhaps we will prepare our Easter food. Or perhaps we will be quiet, contemplate where we are in the story. Whatever you are doing today, I suggest you create a space in your heart to share in our lockdown with sunshine and birdsong, the lockdown of the disciples, which is a dark and hopeless place where everything has already been lost. Hope is ahead, but let us not rush too early into hope, for that would be to abandon Jesus a second time. Let us, whatever we are doing today, do it quietly, recognizing the loss. Yes, it was a hard death.